Okay, so this one is crazy. This one I saw and I was like, what? This one is exploding whale removal. It's like, what? But that just goes to show, regardless of where you are in the small business services or product space, there is something for you in government contracting. This one was so freaking cool, which I thought about it when I saw it and I was like, okay, that makes sense to me. So Smokey the Bear is probably a really good example of this contract. So there you go. You're welcome. Fun fact. If you don't know who Smokey the Bear is, Google it, because only you can prevent forest fires. All right, let me keep going. Welcome back, BOMU besties, to another episode of She Built Success. I am your host, Claudia, and today we are getting into weird or uncommon government contracts. So I did some research. I am back on my Windows device, yay! And we're going to go through some of the NAICS codes and contracts that have been awarded by the federal government that are uncommon. I would say if you're coming from the online space as a small business, you hear a lot of like niche marketing or, the riches is in the niches. I am on it this season with these quotes, y'all. But no, but in all seriousness, this is almost like, think of it as niche, but within the government. So if you're in this space as a small business, good for you. This might have some resonance, but I really want to just show you the nuances of what is possible in government contracting. So I'm actually going to read out the NAICS code. I'm going to read out the, what the contract was for, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about, how it was used. Now, I did some research. I did consult the higher ups, that is AI tools, to help get some of this and collect it because it was a little bit quicker. But it was just amazing. So let's just get right down into it. So one of the first ones that I saw was alligator removal service. And I was like, okay, that kind of makes some sense. So in this case, they were using like Florida and Louisiana as the example, but they contract businesses to safely remove nuisance alligators from public lands. So this NAICS code was 115310, and it means support activities for forestry. So if I were to guess, I don't have the agency, but if I were to guess, I would say like the Forest Service, which rolls up under USDA, is who contracted that out. The next one that I found, also in the wildlife space, is rattlesnake rattles for prosthetics. Now, this one came up not with the NAICS code, but with the product service code, so a PSC code, which is can be an alphanumeric. In this case, it's all numeric, and it's 6515, and it's medical and surgical instruments, equipment, and supplies. Now, we were talking offset a little bit just about, what would you need it for? So here's what it says. The government has procured rattlesnake rattles for the use in prosthetics, in prosthetic limbs, to help them due to their natural vibration properties. So, that's how niche can you get? Like, I'm not a rattlesnake keeper, but if you are, then hey, there you go. This next one, cheese government stockpiles. So this NAICS code is 311513 under cheese manufacturing. And this is, I would say guess the agency before I say it. But if you're watching this on video, we are on YouTube. I would say go ahead, hit the subscribe button. Comment below before I say this agency, what agency you think has the cheese for government stockpiles. I'll give you one. 3, 2, 1. All right, it's USDA. And so on USDA, they say that, on this particular contract, they say that the USDA buys large quantities of cheese to maintain price stability and food security. Very interesting. Now, I'm going to pause there because we talked about wildlife, we talked about cheese, and I get it. As a small business, you may or may not be in that space, but that just goes to show, regardless of where you are in the small business services or product space, there is something for you in government contracting. All right, so we're going to keep going because I have some more. Well, wait, there's more. Okay, so this one is crazy. This one I saw and I was like, what? This one is exploding whale removal. It's like, what? This NAICS code is 562910, which is remediation services. And here it's saying that some coastal states have been granted contracts whenever there's like a whale that washes up on shore, and they basically explode them to help them decompose quicker. So I was like, that's like crazy. So, I'm looking at this and I'm like, well, could technically like a person who is into pyrotechnics, or I think that's the correct thing, and like I think like fireworks and things, would they be in a position to actually bid on it because they have the experience? I don't know. Or do you need to be like an animal specialist person that has that experience? I don't know, but there you go. So that's that particular contract. Then the next one, this thing is like heavy on the animals. I think it's heavy on the animals because we don't really, well, I don't necessarily equate animals, but to government contracts. But this one is a ferret procurement for research. Now, for those of you who are animal lovers and animal friendly, I will say you might want to just skip past this part. But so this PSC code is 8820. It's for live animals. And there are contracts that are issued to purchase ferrets for medical research and flu studies. So I know not everybody's on that bus, but again, I just want to show you what's there, what's out there. This one I actually knew about, and I knew about this because of my training within aviation, but this one is weather modification services, which is like cloud seeding. The NAICS code for this is 541690, other scientific and technical consulting services. And this contract is exactly that. It exists for cloud seeding to help with rainfall. So think of states like Nevada, for instance, where they help generate so that the clouds will produce the rain. So that's the weather modification contract. Okay, this one is another animal one, which I was like, what? This is buying frozen reindeer meat. And I was like, okay. The next code here is 311611. And it's under animal except for poultry slaughtering. Sorry for those of you who don't want to hear this, you can skip past this one too. This one is USDA and Fed agencies. They use that to help with food assistance program in Alaska for tribal distribution programs. Okay, so the next NAICS code, also dealing with animals, and it's an interesting one, is pigeon control at military bases. So that NAICS code is 561710, and that's for exterminating and pest control services. Now, this was because that the bird population sometimes on different bases, and they're saying particularly pigeons, interfere with aircraft operations. And so they need to contract somebody out to come exterminate some of the pigeons. So interesting. This one was so freaking cool, which I thought about it when I saw it, and I was like, okay, that makes sense to me. This one is training for Hollywood stunt driving. And you would think, like, why the hell would they do that? Check this. So this NAICS code is 611692, which is for automobile driving schools. And this is awarded for federal agents and military personnel who do like high-speed driving or need the skills for like evasive maneuvers and whatnot. That made sense to me. I could see that. I kind of saw where that was going. And so they bring on like these Hollywood stunt professionals to help train those individuals, which I thought that was pretty sweet. Oops. I thought that was pretty sweet. Okay. So then the next one, we have a few more to go. This one is actually, this one I had not seen, so it kind of caught me off guard. This one is costume and mascot design for government events. The PSC code for this is 8345, and it's under flags and pennants, which sometimes can include these mascots, apparently. So agencies like the National Park Service have contracted companies for custom costumes for like educational events. Okay, so I'm going to date myself, but there was this character called Smokey the Bear. He actually rolls up under USDA, which is under USDA is the Forest Service. So Smokey the Bear is probably a really good example of this contract. So there you go. You're welcome. Fun fact. If you don't know who Smokey the Bear is, Google it because only you can prevent forest fires. All right, let me keep going. This next one. So this one was interesting. This one is underwater welding for submarine repairs. This NAICS code is 238190, other foundation, structure, and building exterior contracts. And this is for the Navy, clearly in the title, to repair those submarines underwater, which is cool. So if you're a welder, dude, this is right up your alley. So let me keep going. And then the last one that I want to cover is wild horse adoption services. This NAICS code is 115210, support activities for animal production. So this was from the Bureau of Land Management, and they get organizations to do to help manage the wild horse population and sometimes do things like through adoption programs. So it sounds like they're almost like this contract is like a facilitation contract between the animals and potential buyers. So this is the weird or uncommon contracts that the government does offer. So again, all that to say, there is a place for you in this space, believe it or not. You may have to adjust what you're doing right now slightly to fit or to be adaptable to what the government actually needs as requirements. But if not, you have these ones to fall back on too. So, Bold Move Besties, your homework is go look up a weird contract. You can go to fpds.gov and look up things by like keyword and put it in the comments below. Let me know what you think is a weird or uncommon contract, or if you have one like top of mind because you, for whatever reason, have an idea that you might think is weird, put it in the comments. I'll go look it up and see if it's there in FPDS. I might share it on a future episode. So until next time, Bold Move Besties, keep thriving, and I'll catch you on the next episode of She Built Success. What's up, Bold Move Besties? Guess what I'm offering? Government contract coaching for small businesses. It is your opportunity to get the real, the relevant, and the way to do government contracting correctly with the federal, local, and state government. Inside, you will get details on how to start in government contracting all the way through winning your first contract, which is, by the way, not guaranteed, but we're trying to get you there. So if you're interested, please sign up in the link below, and I will catch you in the next cohort. Go ahead and apply today. Visit readyswipegov.com to get started.